Thank you, guys. We are back. We had some few technical problems, but we have resolved them anyway. And our speaker is also ready to start presenting. And our next speaker is Mario Liu. Mario Liu is the CEO of Result Sports and Digital Sports Africa. Mario founded Digital Sports Africa in 2018 as an initiative to increase knowledge, skills of athletes, clubs, leagues, and federation to unlock the huge potential in marketing and communication through the digital transformation. So, Mario, you are welcome. We are happy to have you here. We've just heard about the importance of digital transformation in sport, and especially when seeking sponsorship. I think you will enhance that presentation that we heard from Jan Wheelers on sponsorship, that for federations or leagues or clubs that do require sponsorship, they need data, they need to have more digital content. So welcome to the second day of the International Virtual Sports Summit. The floor is now yours.
Dear Thabo, it's a great pleasure and honor, and thank you so much for the invitation to have me at the show today, at the summit today. It's a great pleasure, and I apologize to the audience who had to wait now 30 minutes. It is a live environment, so I apologize for the delay in the presentation. Let's start. Don't wait too long, and let's get started with the presentation, because my goal is really to enhance the summit, to give the listeners and the audience some insights specifically to the African continent, and specifically to our experiences we made over the course of the last 3+ years with sort of the digital and the social media power. So I will start into the presentation. I want to send my thanks and kindest regards to Thabo to initiate this initiative, because I think Africa is now really not waking up, but obviously identifying and realizing the needs. And COVID-19 was obviously an accelerator for the changes, for digital transformation. And this is sort of our objective, which we have had over the last 10 years. So I, as Thabo mentioned, established Result Sports in 2008. In 2010, we built a crawler to really monitor, observe the evolution of digital social media communities in the audiences, and really make sure to grow and empower the overall objective. And that's how Result Sports matured sort of over the years into where we are now. So we purely started with digital monitoring activities, having all data sets, as I mentioned, from the European leagues and European sports across the past 10 years. Then we obviously identified digital marketing needs. The departments realized their requirement of being present on social media channels. Brands and products wanted to be present on social media channels, just as John from Nielsen mentioned it earlier. But we see that without a clear strategy, without a clear vision, you will not succeed, because then it will just be drops on stones, and these drops will melt away very, very quickly. So our goal and our objective is really about total empowerment, a total goal. And we've identified 5 pillars to fulfill these empowerment. Result Sports is not an agency. Result Sports is not a full profit organization. Result Sports is a digital platform where knowledge, experience, educational needs are fulfilled. And our fans, when you, on the right-hand side, you see a new pillar called SSR, which is very unknown to the most sports industry, because there the sports industry talks about CSR, corporate social responsibility. But our fans, our audience, our community doesn't see us as a corporate. we are a football club, we are a football league, we are a football federation. We are not a corporate in the mind of the fans, but we have a responsibility for our communities and for our activities. Therefore, we establish inside our organization something called sports social responsibility. And that's completely inherited from the United Nations initiative, from the needs of social responsibility, about sustainability, about society evolutions, about life quality, about climate change, because sports will be an ambassador, will be a passionate empowerment for all these activities. And this is sort of just a snapshot of the German Bundesliga, of how they evolved. And you see the teams on the left side in the columns. You see when they launched, this example sort of exists as Facebook. You see when they launched their Facebook profile. And then you see 1st of January 2011 in the third column, 2012, 1st of January 2013, all the way up to the 1st of January 2021. And you see that Bayern Munich, for example, evolved from 400,000 followers now to 51 million followers. And that's a huge potential for the club to not only communicate about sports, to not only communicate about the results on the pitch and how everything went. It's a marketing tool. It's a communication tool. It's a behind the scenes tool. It gathers the insights of Bayern. They know where the fans are following, what fans like, and which type of content, and all these things are really key. How the importance of social media and digital is started or has evolved across the last years in the following. And obviously from that, we then go further into sort of how the Premier League and how Premier League teams in 2020 evolved. So we can, on the top left-hand side, you see how the platforms changed. From Instagram was the biggest growth platform, and you can see on the right-hand side, the teams with the biggest platform growth, like Liverpool gained 6.8 million followers on Instagram, the Premier League 8.8 million followers. For Tottenham Hotspurs, Facebook was the biggest growth platform. So we monitor which platform is performing best for the teams to ensure that the teams using and adopting the right platform for the right content. But nothing can go out without the pure data, without having a data knowledge. And there's another very, very critical item which we observed across the ATS is that Africa is completely different, very different. African sports don't need comparison or benchmarks with Europe, with North America, because that's where societies are evolved. Life quality has been staggeringly different to Africa. And therefore, we established Result Sports, established Digital Sports Africa to really empower the local teams. We don't want to take knowledge out. We want to bring and share our knowledge to African sports. And that's why I'm really so proud to be part of the event today as a speaker. Also empower Thabo and all the other organizers of local events to really unlock the potential, to really make sure that people realize how big the opportunity is. Often media polarizes and saying social media is the evil, social media is the bad part. But social media is there to stay. Social media is where the discussion is happening. Social media is where the conversation is happening. And you need, as a football organization in Africa, you need a solid social media presence to feed back, to nurture back the fans from social media to your own platforms. And we know how many clubs in Africa across Sub-Sahara has challenges about establishing a strong website, especially having a website presence, because it is challenging, and the quality might not be there. So the social media platforms give you the first touch point to your fans, to your audience. And that's why for this purpose, we set up 3 learning centers or university institutions in Nigeria with the Uniport University in Port Harcourt, where Olymp Africa is funding the organization. We build our digital modules into those educational programs to really understand what strategy, what objective, how to measure, what is data, where does data bring a relevance, where all the activities come in, how marketing is being unlocked, how a digital strategy is developed. And the same we've established in Kenya, in Nairobi, and we're proud partners of the BetKing Premier League in Kenya, to really also share the knowledge, assist the communication administrators and officers to really engage with the audience and stop just doing sport communication depending so much on the results on the pitch. You need a bigger strategy. That's why Digital Sports Africa and the African benchmark is really sort of enabling it. And we believe we are the only sports organization being part of the sports family who capture the data of African sports, who capture it very early on. And you see here that this is the top 30 African football clubs on social media in 2018. And you can see that Al Ahly was leading with 20 million followers, followed by Zamalek with 10, then the Kaizer Chiefs, Orlando Pirates in 5th, the South African Giants, Fan Giants, and Raja Club in 4th. But you also can see on 24, Township Rollers, the strongest, most supported team in Botswana, being presented in that. And the majority of administrators, organizations, agencies who want to do business in Africa, they only bring external examples into the market and saying, you need to elaborate from what's happening in Europe, in Asia, in North America. But we need to learn from Africa itself. We need to empower Africa himself. So we need to understand the evolution. And we've sort of captured each social media following across every single state and country in Africa to see who are the leaders in social media communication across the African continent, to really make sure to benchmark across each other, to see, because we have the mobile operators building sometimes a walled garden where data packages are so challenging to get and so costly that the fans have a struggle to connect to the club because they are running out of data. And if we find, let's say, an approach through the national federations, through the national associations, with CAF possibly, that they build a cooperation agreement with FIFA and the mobile operators in Africa, that football content should be part of a unique data bundle where sports empowers and brings so much emotions to the fans that we change the perception of the business models from the mobile operators to generate access for football, for sports in Africa. And this is growing all along. And we not only monitor the follower base. This is an example of Instagram, and you can see that again, the top 25 teams on Instagram across the African continent. You see in the first 3 columns the community growth. In the next 5 columns, you see how often do they post. So not only do we see the community evolution, we also see what content is being developed, Sub-Sahara, in the markets, in the leagues. And this is obviously a great benefit. And when you can see that Club Africa in Tunisia posts 90 times, Singida United in Tanzania only posts 27 times, and then you see Raja Club posts 2,000 times, and that's 6 months time frame, January to July. You see there's a huge gap, a huge distance between how clubs tackle social media and digital communication. And then we know the engagement, and we know basically, do the people like, do they comment, do they want to be involved in the conversation? And that's where Result Sports and Digital Sports Africa want to play a unique value proposition to empower the sports in Africa, because there's so much potential coming out. And I show you the potential because when you remember in 2018, Al Ahly had 20 million, Zamalek 9. In 2020, Al Ahly had 29 million and Zamalek had 12. And Al Ahly realized how big the potential is, how big the growth is coming in. And just to close off with our latest release in June, just about 6 weeks ago, where you can see that Al Ahly is now 33 million and captures a really stronghold. And you can see that in Simba, for example, in Tanzania, is very strongly focusing on Instagram, because Instagram is the platform for the young audience and Facebook is the platform for the slightly older audience, 30 years plus. And now TikTok and Zamalek and Raja Club, the early adopters, start to use TikTok, this new platform with short videos coming on. And Al Ahly, again, already captured in a very short space of time another million into their community. And that's where you really can see that data is the enabler to unlock all the potential for African sports. And there's really so much happening and so much ongoing on. So why is social media presented or ideally positioned to be the unique game changer for African sports? Because we have two items which differentiate us from a brand or a product, because sports is all about emotions. Sports is all about passion. And we know how passionate African football fans or African sports fans are. And they want to engage. It's a vicious circle they want to become. They want to understand how their club operates. They want to understand what their club shares on social platforms. They want to be part of the discussion. They want to be involved. And societies evolve that they are not staying stupid, because they want their opinion to be matter. They want trust from their club. And if they feel trusted, they are happy to support the club, not only online, but to come to the stadiums, to support the team, to cheer, dance, and sing and chant for their club, to really move forward, to empower African sports even further. And this is the unique enablement where social media has the unprecedented potential, because we just need a connection to the social platform. We just need to have a club profile, a Twitter profile, a social media profile, and then we can engage with our audience. But our audience don't want constantly posts about only sports, about only players, because they want to know where is an event they can participate. They want to learn how the club apartments anymore. And the Township Rollers coaches make a short 5-minute exercise video dedicated to the young audience, to the 6 to 10-year-old, and saying, this is a training program from our coaches. This is how you stay fit. This is how you stay healthy. This is how you train your muscles. This is how a little bit of physical exercise in your living room is possible. And it's presented to you by Township Rollers. Fans would love it, because Township Rollers care about the physical exercise. Township Rollers care about the health of the audience. Township Rollers supports to stay in lockdown, to don't spread any pandemic and anything. And that's the unique proposition which we can have. And Sub-Sahara, we did a strong analysis across all the major sports in Africa. And we see obviously that there's 165 million Africans, Sub-Sahara, interested in football. But there's also 3.8 million interested in Taekwondo, and there's 4 million interested in Judo. And it's not just simply dedicated to football, because in social media, we don't have small sports. In social media, we have interest groups. And if I play handball, I want to ensure that my interest group is growing. And the way I manage to grow my interest group is to give them content which they like. Content is key in the empowerment, in creating interest, in generating sympathy out of interest. Because if I like something, I feel sympathetic for it. And if I become sympathetic, it's a very easy next step to become a fan. And then from a fan to become a consumer, to go to the stadium, is the fourth step in the evolution of it. So we don't need to make it theoretical. We don't need examples from Europe or anywhere else. Africa alone has a strong empowerment, and I think we need a strategy, how to execute it. I think we need educational programs, and we need understanding programs, how to unlock those. And all of this is objective driven. we need to simple questions. Why does social media help my organization? What is the benefit of us using it? What resources do I have available? And what is their knowledge status? Do they need training? Do they need exercise? And are they a strategic mind, or are they just a communication, a journalistic mind? And the time for journalists on club media channels at sports clubs is also running out, because sometimes a journalist just publishes the post and doesn't join the conversation, but the fans love the conversation. So we need administrators who are willing to join the conversation of fans, to direct the fans, to support the fans, to answer questions, to be there for them, to care for them, because the target audience is humongous. I mean, I showed you previously in our example of how to do it. So we need a plan, and we need to monitor our performance. And those things are just the critical, let's say, 5 items I need for developing an objective. And then I need to look into how is content driving the conversation. Initially, information might just be enough. Then I need to optimize it, because the people want more. They want different information on different channels. They want to be entertained. And we do infotainment, so information and entertainment. So we combine our information with an entertaining piece and an adjustment. And then people which are really engaging with us on a constant basis, we get personal with them. We want to understand their needs. We want to understand their expectation. We want to understand their participation, and we want to understand their pain, because we want to solve their pain. We want to solve and address it. And then we can look in how to monetize reach, what Jean and Nielsen and many other presenters yesterday and today shared. But it's an evolution. We can't do it right from the beginning, because many of the sports administrators and sports organizations are just not ready to go right into monetization and generate sponsorships, especially across social media. Because we need to think about how digital can become a core element of my organization. And then we come, of course, to the content, because I always hear content is king, content is king, content is king. It might be, because if you don't have the right content at the right time on the right platform, you might have the best possible content, but the audience doesn't see it. Because the audience is not online, because the audience is data protected and don't have any data packages left. So you need to be smart, and you need to create an affectionness for your content, and content needs to work for a club administrator. It needs to be emotional. It needs to be informative. It needs to be entertaining. And there is no on and off switch for the internet. It's 24 hours available. It's 7 days a week available, 365 days. So when I build the expectation with the audience, it's a clear message that my content needs to work for me. And if you have a club administrator where a team loses more games than winning, and the third match day, which he lost, then says, okay, yeah, it's a defeat today. Yeah, let's practice the entire week, and next week we come back and take the challenge again to win. People lose their faith, lose their belief after 3-4 matches of losing, and you don't want to continue the same methodology of your communication approach. You don't want to share the same content. You need to be empathetic to the audience. You need to be sometimes apologetic if the team performance wasn't or didn't meet the expectation. That's what people love in the conversation. That's where people want to engage. And often the digital responsibility lies in the media and communication department, but we have marketing, brands and products want to be present on the social media channels. We have ticketing. When the lockdowns end, ticketing, we want to sell tickets on the platforms. We want to sell merchandising on the platforms, because people can't come to us. People want to be entertained and provided offering on their social media channels. So we just have to make sure that this entire department coordination can take place, that we understand the target audience needs, and to really make sure that knowing what areas we can cover where sponsorship can be present. And many clubs have a website, but as I mentioned earlier, many clubs don't have a very good website which is monetizable. Some clubs have a very strong mobile app. Some clubs have a mobile website, are addressable on the mobile device, because in Africa, the majority of usage for sports content is consumed on the mobile, and mobile obviously is different format, different content styles, and obviously that's why social media provides a bigger audience. And on the right hand side, you see some examples of how to integrate sponsorships, like AS Roma with FIFA 19, VfB Stuttgart on the bottom right with the betting company Lotto is presenting the team, the starting lineup. So identify assets in your editorial plan, in your weekly schedule, which are monetizable, and then proceed with the plan. The bigger your growth, the bigger your reach, the bigger your community is, the bigger value can be achieved on your social media channels. The bigger the engagement is, you know what age, what gender, what demographic, what location your audience stays. You can even implement geographically small sponsors which are not digitally visible, like the bakery, like the butcher. They can also be present on some of those formats and create a community of values. And what that means, I show you in a couple of slides. But this is the approach of how you generate a plan, how to monetize digital assets. And here is an example of how an asset or format catalog could look like. So we have a match day post. Every morning of the match, we post match day today to sensibilize our audience. And this could be placed with the visual sponsor. Inside this posting, you can place a sponsor, and you have it every game, every time on match day. And the native platform, which we identified, is Facebook. And the secondary platform is Twitter, because Twitter is very strong across many, many countries in Africa. And then you can use with this asset catalog different objectives. You can see the goal visuals, the result, the tables, a player of the month vote, a goal of the season, a throwback post. And then you get a structure into your planning, into your content, into your sponsorship approach. It really helps you generate benefit, generate new revenue streams for your club and the league. And this is the value, the community of value succeeding in digital transformation. First of all, the presidents, the general secretaries, the general managers of the clubs need to understand that social media and digital have a relevance to create reach, a relevance to create awareness, to be a shop window for our club, to be an opportunity window for our club, for our league, for our federation, for an athlete, to really ensure that this is the basic element. Many of African clubs are now establishing a digital club experience to generate interest, to develop sympathy, to be present, to be found, to be connecting. And God knows how long it took us to sort of identify the real social media handles of clubs across sub-Saharan countries, because so many fans have established their own kind of club channel, which they post their content. And so we need to bring the platforms in to create verification processes for the original profiles of the clubs, and that's a quality assurance. And then we can become personal and individual, and then we can establish a community of values where social responsibility comes in, where new revenue sources are coming in. And when you look into a club who does it very, very well, you need to look at Fundraiser FC in Nigeria. Fundraiser is a newly established club, 3-4 years old, really growing relevance very strongly. And then you have Enyimba, who is a so successful Nigerian team. But Enyimba has about 50,000 or 150,000 followers across their social platforms, and Fundraiser has 500,000 followers, because a new club knows the digital power, thinks very modern, thinks very appropriate, and goes out to establish a brand by doing it on digital. And they run by it. And you see that in many other clubs. In South Africa, Cape Town FC, a new club, very strong in digital. Pyramids FC in Egypt, a new club, very strong in digital. And they run through the ranks and building a brand while they are establishing their performance on the pitch. And that's something very, very unique which we observe in Africa. And that's why a succeeding in a digital transformation in a community of values is really a key towards that. And for the future, it's going to be much more, because if we understand as the club managers, as the general secretaries, the values of social media, we can become relentless. We follow the discipline. We have so much enthusiasm of growth because every day we see progress coming in. We need to develop processes for communication, processes for learning, processes for planning. We need a new culture in the digital world, because the digital world is faster, is quicker, is very agile. It's changing week by week, month by month, and we need to adjust to it. So we need the right people, the right processes, and focus on values. And then we have the vision. And the vision is something how sports can be really the ambassador for the African continent for life quality, sustainability, empowerment, and really objective-driven environment. So that summarizes my presentation. I again thank you so much, Thabo, for having me. Joao, thank you so much for the communication perspective and providing the technology. Again, my apologies for the slight delay, but I hope you enjoyed the presentation. And these are my communication channels. And thank you so much for being part of the Botswana Summit today. Yep, I see the questions coming in. Thank you so much, Hector Sello, for your comment. Yep, I absolutely agree with that, and I think that's something which we should really look at. That the data package includes league bundles, club bundles, sport bundles, and there are many operators in Africa which are really going into very broadly. Or are present in many different countries like MTN and many others. So we can bring into that. Who are Results' main clients and how big is the agency? As I mentioned, yes, per organization style, we are an agency, but we don't like the term agency. We are a digital platform. And Result Sports has 18 staff, 4 based in Johannesburg in South Africa, led by the Augur Emeka Enyadika, who is a pioneer in digital sports media. Most of you know him. He's a very big man, face, voice. He's in My Soccer Africa show on Super Sports every Thursday, and he's leading all our initiatives in Africa. And that's why we want local empowerment. Yeah, we're working with the team in Kenya, the team in Nigeria, and Professor Ken and the Uniport University in Port Harcourt doing a fantastic job to establish those. And for us, data is the key. If I don't have statistics, I run completely blind. I don't know where to go. I don't know where the audience is. I don't need modeling or anything. I need data. Data shows me how big the opportunity is, and the opportunity is tremendous, as I mentioned to you. And it's not only football, which we look at. We work with basketball teams, basketball leagues. We work with ice hockey. We work with handball leagues. We work with volleyball leagues and teams and federations, and of course we work with football. There we work with the clubs like Manchester City, Juventus, Borussia Dortmund, but also support and align and share our knowledge with Fundraiser, and also with the BetKing League in helping the Kenya Professional Football League and the club administrators or the communication officers to really understand the big power of it. Yes, so we want to be a platform for sports in Africa, and our data, when we share it, is gaining tremendous engagement from the fans. When they see that Township Rollers have a higher following as a team in Tunisia, for example, they are very proud about the Township Rollers. And we want to establish a stronger presence. And like I said, we work in Africa as non-profit, and really are a platform for sharing knowledge, as I mentioned here in my presentation. Perfect. So I can wrap up. I thank you very much for your attention. It's been really a pleasure. Thabo, thanks. Congratulations for the Virtual Sports Summit, the first one in Botswana. I hope there will be many more to come. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. If you have a data need or are interested in the statistics from sports which we have, just don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the summit, and I wish you all the very best and a great weekend. Bye for now.